Agriculture is, of course, a key economic driver here in the province of Ontario, but when you picture the bountiful farmland that makes that possible, most of you probably don't picture the northern part of this province. But between climate change, lengthening the growing season, and skyrocketing prices for land in southern Ontario, agriculture is an industry that is ripe for growth north of the French River. We are here on the livestock farm Kapuskasing meets in, of course, Kapuskasing, Ontario, to find out how the clay belt hopes to become a new green belt. And to do that, we're joined by Gilles Bisson, the NDP member for Timmins James Bay. That's where we are right now. Brianna Humphrey, owner of Radical Gardens. It's a farm, a restaurant, and an online farmer's market. Brian Dunlop, grain farmer, Dunlogan Farms Limited. And Frank Hassan, dairy farmer, Hassan Farm Limited. And it's great to welcome you all. Actually, I don't welcome you. You welcome us because we're in your turf here.
Glad you make it.
Thank you. And it's nice to have everybody here inside this farm today, here in Kapuskasing. You know, when I first saw you, I thought maybe with that tie on, you're a little overdressed. But then I look at myself and I am pathetically overdressed, given that we're coming from a farm today.
The beef in Northern Ontario are very discriminatory. They want to make sure we dress well.
I understand. Okay. Let's just find out a little bit more about all of you if we can. Brianna, start with you. What are you doing on your farm?
I'm strictly organic produce. I'm pretty small, and especially compared to these guys.
Where are you?
I'm about an acre.
Where?
In Timmins.
Okay.
I do a CSA style market garden.
What does that mean?
Community supported agriculture.
Okay.
So I have families that pay me around now, which is early spring, and then they get a share of my crop throughout the course of the season until it's done.
And the crop is?
About 175 varieties of vegetables and herbs.
And you're selling to whom?
Various families. I sell a bit of wholesale, and I also grow for my own restaurant.
And what's the restaurant like?
It's an interesting place. It only makes one, maybe two things a day, and it's all locally sourced.
And how far afield would your produce be going?
We use a fair amount of our own produce, and then we aggregate from like kind of around Timmins. And
So you're not shipping to the south?
no.
Gotcha. Okay. What are you doing?
So my family and I, so our son, my wife, and I own and operate a 110 head dairy operation in Timmins. We produce about 3,000 liters of milk a day and farm about 600 acres where we grow alfalfa, barley, and canola.
Are you making a living?
Oh yeah. So the farm supports our family, a full-time employee, and Farm Credit of Canada.
What's that?
The people that lend us money.
Okay. Are you first generation farming?
No, my father was a Dutch immigrant. He came to Timmins in 1950. I'm going to say 53. I was born in 55. We moved to the farm in 58.
So you've been farming 60
I
years?
I was 2 going on 3 when we moved to the farm.
Huh, how about that? And I should have asked you, are you first generation farmer?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You are, you've started it.
Yeah.
What was that like trying to get that up and going?
Pretty interesting. I'm an art major. I have no experience in food
So what is wrong with this picture?
or farming at all. I grew up living and working in a greenhouse. My family owned and operated a landscaping company and a greenhouse. And then I just kind of like basically happened into what I'm doing. It was pretty interesting. My parents are electricians. They own their own company, which functions out of the same property as me. And I used basically half their land. They weren't really using it, so I just decided to call my neighbor, and he plowed it and turned it into a farm.
There we go. Frank, who are you selling to?
Well, we work under a supply management situation, so all our milk is handled by Dairy Farmers of Ontario.
So you're selling to a marketing board and they take care of it after that?
Pretty much.
Pretty much so. Okay. Brian, what are you doing?
We're grain producers. We farm in Stayner and Cochrane in the north.
Okay, those are two very different places. So Stayner,
Ontario.
near Wasaga Beach?
Wasaga Beach, yeah.
Okay.
Tourist capital.
And Cochrane, north of here?
Yeah, next tourist capital.
Okay.
My family ancestors came from Manitoulin Island, moved down to Stayner. My dad was an engineer at Goodyear. My mom was a school teacher, so we had a hobby farm growing up. Everything got done in the dark growing up. And I started farming on my own in '94. So this is 23 years now, 24th crop. And that's where we are today.
How you doing?
Good.
Business is good?
Yep. Yeah, margins are tight.
What does that mean?
Profit, margins are, revenue minus expense is not always a net profit.
So you're not making money every year?
Yes, oh yeah, it's very tight margins. You have to be good at marketing and good at producing. There's two aspects of growing crops. There's, for profitability, you have to be good at producing the crop and you have to be good at marketing the crop.
Talk about the second one. Where does your stuff end up?
Southern Ontario, all our we direct sell to a lot of end users, and they're all in the southern part of the province.
Did I hear you say you're growing wheat in Cochrane?
Yeah, there's wheat. We planted fall wheat last fall.
I would not have thought that was possible. So tell me about how that's going.
I'll know better at harvest in August.
So this is the first time you've done it?
Yeah.
Bit of a risk.
Yes. Last year this is the first year you could get crop insurance growing wheat up there. So we were working with AgriCorp trying to encourage that. So that reduces a little bit of the risk aspect there. But wheat is a northern crop. Like it's Northern Europe. It's not uncommon to grow wheat in Northern Europe. It's not uncommon to grow wheat in Western Canada. So it's.
What percentage of your acreage, or what do you say now? Do you say hectareage?
No,
acreage.
Acreage is okay to still say?
Yeah.
What percentage of it is sort of south of the French River versus north of the French River?
90% would be south.
90% south.
85%.
So what made you want to come up here?
Opportunity. The opportunity isn't there in Southern Ontario. Land values are rapidly increasing. Equity growth of 5 to 10% a year. You can't put big packages together of land acquisitions, and it's getting more difficult to put bigger land acquisitions of bigger parcels together in Southern Ontario. And up here, there is that opportunity.
So it's easier to do business here than in the south?
To attain acreage, it's easier in the north than in the south. Less dollars required and more opportunity.
You mentioned land is getting really expensive down south.
Yeah.
Give us a comparison. Cost per acre down there, cost per acre up here.
10 to 20,000 an acre in Southern Ontario and 1,000 to 2,000 acres where we are.
So if you can make it happen here,
10 to 1.
That's a great deal.
10 to 1, yeah.
Jill, I suspect, listen, I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that when people think agriculture, they do not think, Timmins, Kapuskasing, Cochrane, they just don't.
Well, they don't now, but they used to at one time. I look at the Hanson family, the amount of dairy farms that used to be on the Matagami side of the river. There was farms across from all the way from Earlton all the way up to Hearst. We had how many dairy farms just in Timmins alone when I was a kid?
There were 38 in Timmins.
So this area has seen a lot of farming over the years. They were smaller farms, granted. They were mostly family farms, but it was very active all the way through. They're still family farms, but they're a lot larger, like 600 acres with the number of head that you have. You wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah, but that is the level you need to sustain a family.
It is the love. It is the love.
So what happened then? They were there and then they went.
I think there's a couple of things that happened. I think, and Mr. Hanson can echo this, is that I think the first thing is that it just came too darn expensive to operate small family farms. People could make more money by going to work in the mine or the sawmill or in the bush. And there was always that connection. The farmers back then were also guys that worked in the bush. They worked in the bush in the winter, they cut trees for Kimberly-Clark or whoever the company might have been, and they operated their farms in the summer. So over the years, people have migrated away from that, and now we're starting to see a little bit of a rebound. It's not a strong one yet, but you're seeing it. There's the amount of farms that have been established, I would say from Matheson coming up this way, is quite large, significant to what it was, let's say, 15, 20 years ago.
Matheson is where compared to here?
Matheson is be southeast of here, so southeast of Cochrane. And the primary reason is, as he says, is that the biggest issue is the question of land. And there is opportunity here. The seasons, there's certain crops that you can grow here that are actually sustainable.
I always thought, though, that the climate would have been too harsh up here to do much. Not the case?
No, there's certain crops that you can grow here. Beef you can do. You can do dairy. There's different things that you can do. And we're all people like yourself that's operating Radical Gardens are also creating opportunities for people to do things. For example, this farm supplies milk from from sheep. I got it right? From sheep. I want to make sure I had the right animal. And we make the cheese here in Kapuskasing. So for the first time, I think ever, we have a cheesemaker here in Kapuskasing who's making world quality artisan foods from local milks. And I think that's where things are going. I think the public is looking for, how can I buy food that's closer to home, that's more natural, that's more organic, that's healthier?
We of course are concerned about the impact of climate change. But ironically, climate change may have made some of this possible. Isn't that fair to say?
Some of it, but some of this is cyclical. If you talk to the elders will tell you that in the past, you used to have warmer and colder times. Now, climate change has been affected, no question, by way of pollution. But Northern Ontario always had a climate that you can actually operate farms. If you look in the northwestern part of Ontario, there's actually quite a strong agricultural area there. You take a look around the Earlton area. Earlton is sustained by farming. It is a farming community. Cochrane was that way not that long ago.
On the question of climate, though, so I've been 40 years in the business, shall we say, and certainly in the 40 years, I'd say we've gained a week at each end that we plant crops about a week earlier, and there's a longer window at the other end.
It's noticeably warmer.
It is, and I mean, if you look at a long season crop like corn, there was zero corn grown in Temiskaming around New Liskeard. And now it's fairly common. Now some of that is just technology. The genetics have changed in the corn crop. There are shortened season crops, but the climate end's an important factor there too.
Brianna, do you notice it?
Yeah, I definitely noticed it. Like, obviously, I haven't been farming nearly as long. I've only been farming for about 5 years now.
She hasn't been living as long either.
Also that. I'm very much the youngest person on this little panel here.
Rub it in. Go ahead, rub it in.
I have been growing my whole life. Like, my grandparents always grew their own food, and my parents are both avid growers of flowers. And I've definitely seen a change, even in the last 5 years. The only thing that Timmins really has a big issue with is unbelievable amounts of rain some summers, where it can just, that was like two summers ago?
13, 14 were wet years.
That was brutal.
What does that do to your business?
I had like almost complete crop loss. It was pretty bad. And then when I deal directly with my customer, so I'm not selling to a board or anything. So I had already collected CSA money, and then they had like the saddest CSAs I've ever put out. And then I think that was my second year actually at like the capacity I am right now. And I know for a couple of farmers in Timmins, it broke them. They just quit farming. They changed what they were doing. That was like John and Lois's last straw at Hawk Feather that year. And they switched over to cattle. And
do you have crop insurance?
no, I'm just like kind of too small to even.
Anybody here have crop insurance?
Oh yeah, like we cover all our.
You take it?
Yeah, but
sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You as well?
Yeah.
yeah, we've got
A lot of
hundreds of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
at stake. Like
A lot of depending on how leveraged you are, there's a lot of lenders that will require that.
yeah.
So if this is such a tough business to be in, why are you in it?
Well, probably a little crazy, really. Like, I love a good challenge. I also really like food, which there's not, in Northern Ontario, we get like the leavings of the leavings. Like in the dead of winter, I don't particularly enjoy the very bland vegetables that we get. I've been trying to figure out a really nice way to grow 365 days a year that's cost effective and isn't gonna drive my hydro bill like super through the roof. But it's, even in the summer, like we just don't get the beautiful heirloom tomatoes or the interesting squashes or anything that I really enjoy eating. And unless I start seeking out farmers markets, the farmers market in Timmins, while it's really awesome, both of them, everybody's just kind of growing the same stuff, and which is great. I really enjoy it, but I just wanted a bit more variety.
Can I make an odd request? Would you hold your fists up? Can we do a little zoom in here, Tina? What have you got there?
My knuckles say grow food, because it was better than thug life.
How long you had that?
I got them in January while I was on vacation. Because I'm a chef as well, I own my own restaurant, so I have to wash my hands a lot. Either they're being washed a lot or they're in the dirt, so it's not that easy to get like a hand tattoo.
Gotcha. It's very provocative. Quite a conversation starter.
Usually, yep.
How cold does it get up here in the dead of winter?
Well, minus 40, we would get that most winters, but what's that got to do with growing stuff?
Well, because I wanted to ask about livestock. I mean, how do livestock handle minus 40?
Well, like our cattle are inside. The barns are more or less climate controlled. There's no additional heat, but a milk cow is kind of like its own little factory producing enough heat to. So even at minus 40, as long as you don't have that kind of weather for, too many days in a row, we're all right. It's like but it's a bit of a challenge.
It's a bit, yeah. Brian, what have you found the biggest challenges to be in the agriculture business north of the French River?
So we're new, so I haven't got enough years under my belt to really have too much to discuss. Our biggest challenge coming up was, you mentioned climate earlier. Probably what's increased the opportunity is tile drainage. Yeah. By us being able to tile drain our properties, so we extend our growing season. We can get our crop in earlier and reduce the risk of getting it off in the fall by having tile drainage in. So that was a big challenge, getting the tile to getting the land drained. We tiled in 2013 and 2014. That's why I know those were wet seasons. So they weren't ideal. We had a good contractor. So
what do you figure you spent
on tile drainage?
On anything, just setting up shop up here. What do you figure it's cost?
It's up. Yeah, it's a cost of business.
Which is? Is it proprietary information?
No, but it's it's not hard math. Like I think we cleared some land. It's pretty hard to clear land for less than $1,000 an acre. We tiled land. It's pretty tough to tile land for less than $1,000 an acre, and we bought quite a few acres. So
we're into the millions.
Yep. But that's agriculture though. That's Frank made the mention earlier about farm credit. That was in ag. That's business.
But that's one of the things that's helped farming here, and I give the government some credit on the tile drainage program. There's been a lot of tile drainage that has been installed in Northern Ontario as a result of Northern Ontario Heritage. The Heritage Fund has put in place a program that has been pretty successful. You see a lot of land that is now,
That's driving it.
Yeah.
That's really.
Did you access that fund?
Not in 2013. They came out with the program in 2013, and we were already in the mix, so we couldn't apply. Yeah, we would have collected probably $400,000 that year if we could have been in the program in time. But saying that, we benefited in 2014, so that's what's really driving this.
And this has been a successful program?
It's been successful. This is where I think government can be effective. We certainly have issues that we have to deal with, regulation, for example, dealing right now with the people that make cheese here in Kapuskasing, trying to ship their cheese because of the rules.
Just take a minute to go into that, because there's some very particular regulations that affect people down south that don't, or affect people here but not there.
The difference here is that they're making artisan cheeses, and artisan cheeses shouldn't be treated the same way as a craft, a large cheesemaker. So the difficulty they had is that the current regulations under law make it that you have to transport cheese at 4 degrees, I think it's 4 degrees. So we've worked out a temporary accommodation with the health unit here, doing some things to make sure we do best practice so that we can start shipping some cheese. But eventually we're gonna have to change the law so that in fact artisan cheeses can be shipped the way they shipped them 2,000 years ago in France. You make cheese, they put it in a cart, they'd ship it down to Rome in 6 weeks, and that's how it got there, because they're a cheese that is made not to be refrigerated at that temperature, and they're much better, they're much more flavorful.
Is it 4 degrees Celsius, I
4
presume?
degrees, yeah.
Celsius. And you did. I mean, I know you've been on this for a long time because we've talked about it at Queen's Park before. Have you finally got a solution to all this?
Well, I was there today and they were shipping cheese. It was.
So it's happening.
Kind of.
The solution is that we're just gonna ship it. Right?
Well, it's not exactly.
Like-
They have to follow best practices.
For sure,
We
for
sat
sure.
down with the health unit a couple of times. The health unit was very helpful.
What's
in
the
trying-
concern? That if it's
Well,
too
it's
hot, it'll
because-
go bad?
It's because the way the regulations are written, both under the Milk Act and also underneath the Health Act, Health Protection Act, have rules in it that really are applied to large agricore type facilities.
Not
They're
small
They're not
artisan
made for this.
shops, right.
Exactly. So the health unit has been very helpful in making sure that we establish best practice when it comes to shipping. So there's some limited shipping that's going to be allowed. The next step is I got to get a bill through the legislature in order to allow those artisan cheeses to be transported. Because if you can make that happen, there's not going to be the only cheesemaker in Kapuskasing. You're going to have other cheesemakers, which is jobs, which is investment, which is market for people that want to raise sheep or want to raise goats or, cows is different because we're under milk marketing. I support supply management, by the way, just so you
So
know.
do I.
But that's the issue, is that I think what's happening now is, it's what's happening with Radical Gardens, I think is what's happening in a whole bunch of places, is that people want to eat local, they want to eat quality foods, and we need to find ways to allow that to happen easier. Just the regulations around farmers markets is the other.
Yeah, we run into a lot of really bizarre issues. We've forced a lot of very quick change on our health unit and district very, very quickly.
Have they kept up?
We've been working with them. Also, Radical Gardens is fairly known for just loving to stir the pot a little bit.
That's why you're called Radical.
Yeah. So, we often get randomly inspected to make sure that my eggs are stamped because we have no egg grader in Northern Ontario any farther than New Liskeard, and they're always convinced that I am just taking eggs off farms and cooking with them, which no, that's not a thing I want to do. That the porcupine health unit would be my last issue. The CFIA would probably hang me out to dry on that one.
Canadian Food Inspection Agency.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But just running into issues with now we're making our own preserves with the food that we find from around Northern Ontario and the food that we grow ourselves. So trying to work with the health unit and show them how to can things so that they can audit my canning and make sure that I am following best practice. It's mostly just been a case of educating them so that they can be okay with what I'm doing.
Do we have too many regulations in place making your life crazy?
It depends on the day and what I'm doing. But some days, yeah, especially when I'm growing my produce and I'm taking it to market, if I'm not at a farmer's market, and let's just say I'm outside of my building in a farmer's market that's in my parking lot, those farmer's markets, the rules no longer apply to me. So my vegetables have to be kept at refrigerated levels, and obviously, that's ridiculous. And I just sell out of my parking lot. But I'm not going to. It's a case of just changing the conversation. We need to have a different conversation than the large agribusinesses that have been controlling how our food is distributed and how it's handled, because not everything is created the same.
Well, Brian, let me follow up with something you and I were talking about earlier before we started going on camera here, which was you were talking to me about regulations down south being quite intense, whereas up here you felt, in some respects, I know we're in the north, but you thought it was a bit like the Wild Wild West where you could kind of do what you wanted.
Yeah, going back to land clearing, there's too many restrictions down south. I was mentioning if in our backyard at home, if you're in town, you want to take a tree down, you need a permit or someone's going to complain. Up here, there's literally thousands of acres being cleared, and there's funding to do it.
So you're being encouraged to just go for it.
There are still some regulations. You got,
but
they
not-
don't let you burn just whenever you want, and your piles have to be a certain size. So there's more regulation than there used to be, for sure.
Too much?
Sorry?
Too much, in your view?
I can live with it because the regulations are generally in place because, you have neighbors that you need to take into consideration, and they're the people we live on the road with. We don't want them to be unhappy with us.
I don't want to turn this into a political discussion, but there is a debate going on at Queen's Park. The Conservatives, of course, would like to, I think, take a torch to a lot of the regulations that are going on in the province, and
I-
You know,
I-
a lot of people agree.
Well, I think it's dangerous to go that way. Number one is we have regulations in place for a reason, and that is to make sure that there's safety, that what you buy, you're able to eat, and you're not going to get sick or die. So there are regulations that are in place. They're based on the experiences where something went bad. We put in place a regulation so that it doesn't repeat. When we're talking about the changes of regulations in the artisan cheese industry, we're not saying make it the Wild West so that you can do what you want. We just want regulations to match the industry. So you can't have a one-size-fits-all regulation that's the same for craft food cheese factory as it is for La Fromagerie Capescois and Kapuskasing. It's not the same type of process. It's not the same type of cheeses. It's a totally different business. So when we're talking about change to regulation, it's to allow rules around farmers markets, allow rules around the processing and the storage of milks when it comes to making cheeses at the artisan level, not at the large, Parmalat type of operation.
Right. Now, you just mentioned the name of the place here. Say it again.
It's La Fromagerie Capescoise.
Made here,
Made here.
shipped south now?
Starting to. Actually, you're going to be able to have their cheeses at the CN Tower.
Well, that's pretty far south.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to get their cheeses in there, along with Rowe Distillers, who's just up the highway here from here in Hearst, who makes the best Loon vodka in the world. Made in Hearst out of barley from Northern Ontario.
Sold at the LCBO.
Sold at the LCBO. Loon vodka.
He's
Best
the
vodka you've
he's the
ever had.
local MPP. I think we have to let him promote some of the activity going on in the riding here. But
Best
you were
milk in Northern Ontario.
Is that right? Over here? Over here? Let's talk a bit about jobs. Obviously, there's a great deal of interest in trying to get the unemployment rate down, try to get the number of jobs up, and I want to get a sense about, agriculture today obviously isn't what agriculture was 100 years ago when practically everybody was involved in it somehow. It's 2-3% of the economy right now in the province of Ontario.
Probably a bigger percent of the economy, but maybe percentage of jobs.
Correct. Yes, correct. How many? Your operation supports how many jobs?
Well, so our family, which is my wife, my son, and I, and we have one full-time employee. And but then, of course, like every other industry, there's a spin-offs. There's the local machine shop, the local tire shop. We help support all of those. And a local lender who we support in a big way.
The local
Lender.
as in the bank.
Well, in our case, Farm Credit Canada.
Farm Credit Canada. Gotcha. How about you?
We employ anywhere from 5 to 20, depending on the time of season and what we're up to.
Can I ask what you pay them?
We actually have no employees at minimum wage.
Everybody does better than that.
Yes.
Your decision?
Yes.
Because?
She's radical.
Yeah. Well, we give a lot, but we expect a lot from our employees, and everybody's a jack of all trades at Radical Gardens. There's nobody has just one role. That'd be cool, but that doesn't happen at all. The guy that does my dishes could also be my carpenter that fixes my greenhouse when it breaks, and my pastry chef also runs the cash when she has time, and everybody just kind of swaps in and out. And I want to make sure that everybody's working as a team, so everybody basically makes the same, and everybody just works together to move it forward.
I think, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think the minimum wage in the province of Ontario, farms are exempt, are they not, from the minimum wage?
Well,
You
you might
wouldn't
be
tell him.
exempt, but you're not going to get anybody to work.
Okay, well, so this is what I'm saying. So if you could pay people less, but you choose not to. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't want to. We have almost no automation on our farm, so I literally could not. I do most of the farming myself. My husband runs the store. I couldn't imagine weeding for weeks on end for minimum wage. I'd walk off my farm and then I'd have to hire someone new. It's much more cost effective to pay someone a bit more to retain them.
Do you have to pay benefits too?
It's something that we're only brand new. We've been farming for 5 years, but I've only been owning and operating my restaurant for about 2 now. So it's our next goal as far as benefits, but we don't offer them just yet.
And I don't know if I asked you this. Are you guys making a decent living doing this?
It depends on the day.
So some days
Some days are harder than others. It's not so easy to be a like a produce farmer in Timmins. It's a pretty difficult task. And then on the other hand, we seed our crop, we grow it, and then we cook with it. So if it's like just slow all across the board, we're not making any money that day. So you have to hope that the whole chain is working that day in order for it to really be lucrative. And plus we're still quite new. Even for a starting farm, I wouldn't expect to be like rolling in dough just yet by any means. Also, I do own a farm and a restaurant. The odds of me ever rolling in dough are basically slim to none.
But you do it anyway.
Yep.
And you do it anyway because?
I couldn't imagine doing anything else by any means. I used to work in a very corporate world, downtown Toronto. Hated every minute of it.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So you're doing what you love?
Yep.
Good. How about you for jobs, Brian?
So we have 6 full-time employees and some part-time drivers in busy season.
And anybody on minimum wage where you are?
No.
You all
No, we're pretty close to the automotive industry, so if you're not competitive, that's the main employer in our area. So in order to find help, you're going to have to compete with that in some respect.
Now, is that down south or is that up north as well?
So right now, like I say, we're new to farming in the north. This is going to be our first year where all our acres are in full production. So right now, we're spread thin because we're using the same manpower down south as we are up north.
I see. So you've got nobody up here technically full-time just watching up here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that problematic? In other words, do you get bad looks from the neighbors ever because you're not employing
We're an
people?
absentee landowner. We're an absentee farmer. Yeah, we come out, we get the job done, and we want it to be sustainable. I mean, livestock is a big component of being sustainable up here, and we're not livestock producers, but we saw an opportunity, and like you were mentioning earlier, you're doing it for the challenge, and that's why you do it, and that's why we're doing it for challenge. And I farmed a little bit in Saskatchewan from 2000 to 2004. So I always thought the grass was greener on the other side. So we weren't expanding fast enough at home. So I saw an opportunity at West, and distance was a big factor there. And they had a couple of tough years when I was out there. And I came back up here in 2012, and it was a great summer that year. Like 2012 was an ideal year up here. So I came back up, and I came up in 1999 looking at land. That was my first time up in Cochrane, and came back 2012, and I didn't see it in 1999, but I saw it in 2012. Different glasses that day, I guess.
Shil, let me ask you this. 27 years you've represented this riding now?
Yeah.
27 years. So you know the people here really well.
Not everybody, but I get around.
Okay. I'm not trying to stir trouble up here, but do people who live in this area appreciate them more than they appreciate him because they're here all the time and he's an absentee landlord?
Well, because they have the family connections, they have the neighbor, like they're there all the time. It'd be different for you because, most people, like you walked in the door a little while ago, I didn't even know who you were.
No.
So it's a very, very different reality. Your family's been here since I can remember. My daughter lives on the farm next to you, so we all know each other. So there's a very strong connection, and I think that is one of the things that makes living up here so great.
What are the hopes, do you think, that the public have up here for improved prospects in agriculture going forward?
Oh, definitely going the right direction. I think it's going to take a few things to really move it along. Good weather is the number one. If we can keep on getting good weather, we'll be doing well. But we need also government, both at the provincial and federal levels, as well as municipal governments, to look at the benefits. And you're seeing that in Kapuskasing with their mayor here. Al Spacek has been doing one heck of a job trying to attract the opportunity investment in the farming business up here. We see it in Cochrane with Mayor Politis and others across the north, is that we need to keep on that going, and I think it's going to get better. It's not going to get worse.
I know part of your job, obviously as an opposition critic, is to kind of light a fire under the government to get them to do, better and more of what you want. So what does that involve?
Well, it's like what we're having right now with the artisan cheesemaker here, La Fromagerie Capescoise, trying to deal with that. I know John is dealing with somebody, and I don't know if it's you, but in regards to transport of equipment on Highway 11. I don't know if that's you.
It's Ed Tollin.
That's Ed? Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we're constantly being contacted by people for all kinds of different issues when it comes to how they interact with government, what it is that could be made in order to make their lives easier, and that's what we do.
What's one thing you think government could be doing right now to make your life easier?
To be honest, as far as mostly provincial government and federal government isn't really hindering so much as municipal government right now. My municipal government has my taxes like just through the roof.
Property taxes.
Yeah. And right now I pay property tax on 3 properties because I have a house, my farm, and my store.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. So the municipality as a whole could really do a lot more for me, but as far as like the provincial and federal government, they've given me loads of funding, so
Yeah.
How about
yay.
your electricity prices?
They make my soul weep once a month when all the bills come in.
Off the charts?
Off, like my store, I closed it for 3 months and we renovated it and we swapped everything over to energy efficient gas, and my bill went up about $800.
Over what, a month?
Yeah, from when I closed to when I reopened. Now, don't get me wrong, I've obviously become far busier and we have more equipment. And our ovens are computerized touchpad, but they're still run on gas. But our hydro rates, especially for our greenhouse and for all of our shops at our farm.
What are you paying every month?
At the farm, what am I paying? Enough that it upsets me.
Thousands a month?
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars.
My store, which is downtown, is very small too. It's quite a small store. The restaurant actually only seats 12. It's heavy takeout mostly and delivery. It averages a little shy of $2,000 a month, if not more.
How about you?
Yeah, well, electricity took the steam out of me. $4,000's a pretty average month just for the farm bill.
You've heard the announcement, of course, that as of June 1st, they
Yeah,
are supposedly lowering prices
I'd like to
25.
see, when I see that in the bill, in the the electricity bill, but you know, these costs are just being shifted somewhere else. I mean, but we'll see.
We run a grain elevator, so our hydro bill is seasonal. So in the harvest time, it's substantial. But we offset that. We have some microfit projects and a 200 kilowatt system on a building, so we've offset that.
What kind of how are you generating?
We're not well, we have natural gas to our grain drying facility.
What's your microfit? Is it solar or is
Solar,
it?
yeah,
Oh, it's
solar,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
Got it.
Yeah, so we've offset that cost a bit that way.
Got it.
But I'm not disappointed in hearing the reduction, as long as it's a reduction in delivery too.
I'm not sure that's,
I
well,
know,
we'll
that
see.
would be nice.
Yeah.
What do you think about repatriating all of hydro? No, we don't have time for this discussion. Sorry, Jill.
But all told, like a small farm like myself, I'm sitting about equal with you, all properties combined, a month.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's another business there that's,
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But like in the dead of winter, my parents' business isn't actually running out of their property because they leave. It's too cold here. They're gone.
Guys, can I say how much I've enjoyed the last 40 minutes with you here? Really appreciate it. We are grateful that we could take you off of your farms and out of Queen's Park and out of your constituency office and all the other places you run around in this riding to spend some time with us here at Kapuskasing Meats. Really good to meet all of you. Gilles Bisson, the NDP member for Timmins James Bay, Brian Dunlop, the grain farmer from Dunlogan Farms, Brianna Humphrey, Radical Gardens, go see her restaurant. Sounds pretty cool. And Frank Hassan, dairy farmer, Hassan Farms Limited. Thanks to one and all.
Thank you.
Help TVO create a better world through the power of learning. Visit TVO.org and make a tax-deductible donation today.